Greetings, everyone. My name is Tony Forman.
Welcome, everyone, to the new Tony Forman Show. I'm excited to be here with you and introduce to you the new sensation, the podcast sensation, Mr. Tony Forman. Here you go, Tony Forman Show.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Tony Forman, and I want to extend a wealth of gratitude to my producer for putting this show together. Our show is going to be a very exciting show. Most of you know me from Facebook. I just have to educate my people, and that's what we're going to continue to do. We have a lot of issues coming up with the new administration, a lot of changes going on locally with local elected officials, a lot of races that will be coming up for the midterms, and we want to make sure that you're informed, properly informed on the things that are going on that affect your life. It affects all our lives. Some of us don't know the intricacies of the things that go on behind the scenes that affect us. Therefore, somebody's got to educate the masses. If you're a voter and you vote for a specific elected official, that person, whether you voted for him or not, if you're in that district, you're still a constituent. Most people don't know that. Okay? That's just simple election 101. We'll be covering issues from city council, issues from commissioners, and we won't only be talking about things that are happening in Charlotte or Mecklenburg, Mecklenburg, but we would be at large. This world is a world that is functioning in very particular and peculiar ways, and some people they won't watch television. A lot of people watch podcasts. A person like me, I watch everything. I read everything. And some of the things that I'm going to be sharing with you, if I don't share it on the show, you could always go to my page and you could get the information there. All of that information will be on the links that my producer will be putting up. And I want you to stay connected. Please stay connected because we're going to be covering a lot of things. One of the issues that's dear to my heart, I'm an Afro-Latino. I grew up in New York. I worked for Congressman for 10 years. I come from the House of Representatives and Attorney of working. So I dealt with all levels of government. I'm very versed on the general or the generality of politics and elected officials. So I'm not relegated just to Charlotte. I want to make that clear. I still have a lot of my colleagues in New York and different places that have politics. Congressman Ed Towns is one of the, it's the congressman that I worked for 10 years. And I'm very well connected with a lot of those individuals. So I want you guys to, when I have guests on the show, please send in your comments, your questions, and we'll address them at the beginning of every show. Okay? So that, but you have to tune in now. If you're going to send a question, in order for you to get a response, you'll have to tune in to the next show. And we'll appreciate you staying on now so that we can share some other stuff with you.
All right, Tony, we're up against our first break, and we'll be right back on the new Tony Forman Show. Hey everyone, we want to thank you for watching the Tony Forman Show, the new Tony Forman Show. You can catch us on your favorite audio podcast or video podcast platform every Wednesday at 10 in the morning Eastern Time. That's when we drop. So once again, thank you for watching the new Tony Forman Show on your Cannis Media Network.
Hey everybody, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. Thank you for being a part of my world, and we'll see you next week. Look for the show.
Well, welcome back, everyone. So, Tony, I'm really excited to have your wisdom and your experience to share with all of our viewers and listeners. So, I know 2024 for a lot of people was a challenging time. Some of the elections and all around didn't go some people's way. Some people are excited about the elections. What are your thoughts about the 2024 elections and what's been going on?
That's an excellent question, Carlo. I personally participated in a lot of the electioneering that was going on. As most people that know me know that I'm a devout Democrat. And I rooted all the way for Vice President Kamala Harris. There were a lot of things that didn't go right on the ground. So there were a lot of things on the ground that didn't go right, things that we noticed, the things that I was really, that just weren't gelling. But most of you that are politically inclined know that North Carolina was a pivotal state in this election. It mattered very much how the turnout was in North Carolina. In Mecklenburg, at the moment, and as a result of what happened during the election, there's a lot of discord with the Mecklenburg the Democratic Party. And that's another issue that we can maybe tackle another time. But a lot of things that should have happened didn't happen. The Democratic Party didn't back a lot of the candidates of color. That's an unfortunate circumstance, but it's a fact.
Yeah.
Some of the there's been a lot of news reporting about that. When Judge Beasley ran, a lot of that went on, and she lost. The people that actually do the work on the ground, like I was on the ground, weren't actually given the proper material to work with. And if you don't have the proper material to support your candidate, then the message is lost. We didn't go into communities that we should have went to. They had, I was stationed downtown Charlotte at Tryon and Trade. And we were there, and we were there with a lot of people from all different cultures, professions. And half the people weren't even from Charlotte; they were visitors. And I don't believe that we had the effect that we should have had if we would have been more in the community. And it's a fact that, and I think it's a problem that we have with all politicians. They only come out when it's time to run. People have problems with that. So when you talk to them at a time that you're running, you're going to run into, I don't know who you are. I've never seen you before. And in communities of color, that is very prevalent. As a politician, I know very well, being under the tutelage of the former congressman that I worked for, Congressman in town, this man was always in the community. My politics is different to the politics itself. I'm not saying that we have to be like New York or Chicago. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we need to pick up the pace a little bit more and get with the program. What is the program? a lot of people that are even voters in communities of color don't even vote. And if they vote, they will vote during the presidential election, which is what happened during the 2024 presidential election. But just as important, and maybe even so more important, are the local elections. The local elections foster support for the presidential election. And the community needs to know that those elections matter too. So I think a lot of things could have happened that didn't happen. I think that the Democratic Party in North Carolina needs to work a little harder to work with the people that are on the ground, that do the footwork. There's a lot of local organizations that work very hard to get people elected, but the Democratic Party would not provide any funds to those organizations that have foot on the ground and the pulse of the community. I repeat, the pulse of the community, so that they could go out and do the work that we need to do to get our people elected. Now, I'm sort of a visionary. Um, and I don't know how many of you know what a coffee clutch is. In New York, we use a lot of, and in many other big cities, coffee clutches. And what you do is you get people in your community, you put them together at somebody's house, and you discuss current politics and what's going on, and even invite candidates to come and speak. Now, remember, I'm talking about people in the community, not just going into a hall and doing a presentation or debate. Here, they think that works perfectly well. It doesn't. It doesn't, because not everybody is going to participate. But you can get people in the community to work in clusters and educate them on the processes. Most don't, because they don't get involved in the voting process. Now listen to the. So what if let me just throw something out there to y'all. What if in a place like Charlotte, you took a radius of 4 blocks, if it's the place where you have blocks, and every 4 blocks has a group that does just that in a cluster. Invite the elected officials or the people that are running for office to come and speak to them and let them know what it is that's going on. I personally have been invited on several occasions to go, especially senior citizen homes, to go talk to them, because their problem is that nobody comes and talks to them. And you know who votes most often? The seniors. So if the seniors are not getting the information, how do you expect the voting process to go? Because it's just politics 101. You got to go to the people. It's that simple. You could do all the little debates and all that kind of stuff. Most of the people that live in the community don't go to that. And most of them are not informed about that. People like myself, my producer, and some other leaders that I know, yeah, we go to those, but they know those already. We already know them. What happens to the common man, the common woman, the common youngsters that don't participate? How do we engage them? We have to come up with more clever ideas that would engage the community a little bit more. Listen, people, let's be honest and let's be forthcoming. Most people that know me know that I don't hold my tongue. I'm going to say what I have to say as long as it's the truth. I will not lie to you. There is a problem when it comes to people of color. When I say people of color, I'm talking about blacks, Latinos, uh, Asians that are disparate. Do you know that right now they just Speaker Johnson and the rest of the Republicans have dismantled the Committee on Civil Rights? What does that mean? Any issues that come up with civil rights will not be heard. It is a calculated attempt at disparaging people of color, people of low income communities. And when that's done, we lose. We need to be more proactive. You see, if we ourselves don't do it, then it's our fault because they're not going to do it for us. It's that simple. They're not. I mean, it's so bad. They're attempting to take all African American and Latino studies out of school. So how do our kids learn about civics? How do they learn about the civil rights movement? How do they learn about as a matter of fact, I've worked for the after school program for a few years. And these kids didn't even know who Martin Luther King was. That's a problem. That's a problem that we have to deal with. But the thing is, I again state or reiterate that we have to do it. We can't wait, especially for politicians to do it. Because I tell you, be frank with you, in Charlotte, politicians don't come out in the community and do community meetings. They'll do town hall meetings. How are you going to be a senator or representative and you don't bring the news and the changes that are going on in the General Assembly? How are you going to educate those individuals? So you expect them to educate themselves, and that's why I do what I do. I just have to educate my people, and I put it on Facebook. I'm bringing it to you now live. I will personally take on the charge of bringing you all the information that you need to know. If when it comes to elections, when it comes to CMS, when it comes to the economy, I will bring you that information. And if you have any questions, put it in the link, and we'll address it. And we'll make if it's a concern that concerns many of us, we'll do a special show just for that. Even if you got to do another taping, because I just got to educate my people. So I welcome you to participate, because listen, we're going to get going. John Lewis said, we're going to get in good trouble. I might get in more in good trouble. But we're going to work it out. And I can only do this with your assistance, with your participation. My producer, Christian Cano, is also a very well versed person in politics and community work. And I got to extend my gratitude to him for making this possible, so that we can bring you the news that you need to hear. And I'm talking about the common man. I'm not addressing myself to no elected official or the most affluent. No, I'm talking to you, my brethren and my sisters. Join my show every time I come on, and we will get at it, because I just got to educate my people. And I keep reiterating that until you guys understand that it is important for us to have a dialogue that enhances the lives of individuals that otherwise would know what's going on. You know, you have places like Hidden Valley. You have right here, right in First Ward, the elected officials that represent First Ward, they don't come around. And I live here. So if they don't come around and they know that I live here, because most of them do, that's problematic. It's systematic. Why is it systematic? Because they've been doing it for so long, they think they can get away with it. We will also be informing you of the different meetings with City Council, with the county commissioners, and any other meetings that will be coming up with the Congresswoman, the state senator, the state representative. We need you to participate. We need you to get involved. It's your life. You're the one that's being shortchanged. So if you don't get involved, listen, I'm bringing it to you, and costing you a cent. You know what I'm saying? Education is free. Malcolm X said, you're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. If you're not part of the solution, then you are the problem. So if you are not part of this, your own solution, you're creating a problem for yourself. President Douglas said, where there is no struggle, there is no progress. Don't think everything is going to come to you just like that without you putting in some type of effort. Because that's not the way the world works. The world does not work like that. The world says you have to get involved. You have to participate in order to get your due. Listen, we have a problem with housing. They're trying to zone everybody out. It's mostly it's the more lower income people that are being targeted, and that's a fact. You don't let nobody tell you that it's not like that. And anybody that doesn't like it, yeah, I said it. It's a fact. We had a homeless problem here about 3-4 years ago that was just horrendous. You know what they did? They picked up all the homeless, put them in a hotel for 3 months with no type of services. They didn't try to find them housing. And in 3 months, you know what happened? They moved back out. They didn't come back to because they were right on the highway. They didn't come back to the highway, but they went downtown. Downtown. They went to other communities and tried to find refuge because, look, to be honest with you, there's upwards of 125 people and families that are coming into Charlotte every single day. That's statistical. And you can look it up. And during COVID, a lot of people who were employed, daily employed, they had a home, 1 or 2 vehicles, they wound up homeless. Are you listening to me? I'm going to repeat it. They wound up homeless. And where did they go? I don't know. And I guess people haven't been able to come back from that. If you don't have programming to address the needs of the homeless, then our city is going to look like a homeless city. I mean, let's be honest. You can't be any more clear than that. And anybody that's lived in a big city knows that there's some challenges to living in a city, especially Like what happened right downtown here, uh, back in the 60s, where I live, it's called Earl Village. And you have a different ward. I live in the second ward. First ward, second ward, third ward, and a fourth ward. I know some of the people from second ward were the only high school in the black neighborhood, or it was in second ward. And they came and they bulldozed. They moved people out under the guise of urban development. If you ever hear that term, urban development, beware. They're coming for your home. They're coming for you. They're going to displace you. They're going to build up, and you won't be able to afford to live back in that neighborhood. It's strategic. And I'm not saying that they're talking to you. I don't want to get anybody on any alert, because that's not the way it works. It's done, how could I, at a snail's pace, but it's going to happen. So you're going to get a lot of this type of information from me, because I am a community leader in both the Black and Latino community. We need to have more dialogue like this, where we can converse, share information, and whatever information you have on a certain issue. And if you think that I've said something that's out of place, write in. We'll discuss it. Do some more research, and I don't have a problem apologizing. Socrates said that a wise man is he that can admit that he is wrong. I don't have a problem apologizing, because I'm human. But I will tell you the truth. And I always tell people, I'm a politician, but I won't lie to you. So you got to understand something. I am you. I live like you. I could live someplace else with my wife, but like in New York, my family never moved out of East New York, never moved out of the hood. Because we are not hoodish, but we come from the hood. That's where I grew up at. I seen gentrification happen there, but they didn't push us out. So I know the feeling when I came here, and I heard there's a group called the Brooklyn Village Group. I believe that's what it's called. And it's people from Second Ward. And they tell the story. As a matter of fact, I believe it's on YouTube, of how they came in and just displaced people. And they couldn't come back. They couldn't come back. So let me tell you what they considered it was a give back. So what they did was, like in the first ward apartment, they designated out of a few hundred apartments, they designated mainly 5 to 10% of the apartments to programs like Section 8, FSS, and one or two more. And that's how they justify the gentrification. Unless you know the color of gentrification, I repeat, the color of gentrification, I think you could get the cold word there, right? You wouldn't even know that it happened. So we have to continue these conversations. We have to continue educating each other. Again, if you have any questions or you have a topic that you want to discuss, send it in the chat. Send it to our email, which should be part of the show. And we'll put it on. We'll put it on. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. I pay my producer millions and millions of dollars to do this, so I expect him to do what he's supposed to do. Now, we're working hard to make sure that this is a successful show in terms of disseminating information. I encourage most of you to take advantage of the dates that we'll be putting on our site for the city council meetings, the commissioners meeting, and I'm not going to talk about state representatives and state senators. Look, I know them practically all that look like me. And if they don't like what I'm saying, then put on some town hall meeting. Come out and educate your constituents. Don't come at me with it. Do your job. And you know I will call you out. I have no problem with that. And I'm not going to do it publicly. I'll address you personally. It's that simple. Do your job. People need to know what's going on.
Hey, Tony, we're up against our second break. We'll be right back on the Tony Forman Show. Hey, everyone, we want to thank you for watching the new Tony Forman Show on your favorite audio or video podcast platform. Every Wednesday at 10 in the morning Eastern Time, it will drop. So once again, thank everyone for watching the new Tony Forman Show, brought to you on your Cannis Media Network. Well, welcome back to the Tony Forman Show. So, Tony, I know a lot of people are going to be asking you this as the show continues throughout the year. How do you feel the 2024 elections are going to impact the city of Charlotte and Mecklenburg County, or do you think they do, or you do think they will?
The 2024 going into 2025. Okay. I think it already started in having an impact in the functionability of our city and our county. There's a lot of things that right now are happening that most of us don't know, and that's why I strongly emphasize that people go to city council and commissioners meeting where most of these issues will be covered. But you also have an opportunity to sign up and speak about whatever your concerns are. But I think with our local elections, the Briggs election, I believe there's problems with that election. The other party is trying to undermine that election. And look, a lot of that, we don't want to take, not blame, but take a responsibility for what we're not doing for ourselves and why we're not getting as involved as we should get involved. So people who know the persuasion, they get involved. They know the issue. They know what they want. They work together. We, on the other hand, Latinos and Blacks don't work together. And we face the same impact for both communities that other people are making decisions on that affect us. So if it's going to affect both of us, both of our communities, why are we fighting together? Why are we coming together? Because between the Latino and the Black community, we could put anybody in there. Do not be misled. Do not believe that it can happen. Yes, it can happen. But it can only happen if we work together. Now, there's a few judges. I think there's still a couple of races out there that are not decided yet. And eventually we will know because the Republican Party is the one that's actually in charge. It's very well known that North Carolina is ran by the Republicans. Democrats are splintered. And that's something that the leadership has to look at. And not you and I, the leadership. Because if you are the head of your household and your kids do something, guess what? You're responsible because your kids do. It's no different. If you're at the top of the Democratic Party or the different county parties, you're responsible for the failures of the party. When you have a chair that pick and chooses, how are we Democrats? No, Republicans will control. That's a fact. Democrats get together, but they don't work together. This election, what has happened, is going to have a gradual effect on the communities, the minority community, because what the incoming president is proposing and the people that he picked, this is the first administration that has a bunch of criminals as part of the administration. The only administration in the history of the United States. Do you know the years back, if you had a criminal record, there's no way in the world. It doesn't even get confirmed. And it's happening. It's happening before our eyes. Why? Because we're not in control. And we think that us bitching is going to make a difference. No, we have to mobilize. We have to mobilize, strategize, and take action. What does that mean? We got another 4 years of this man. We don't need another 4 years of his program when his time is up. So right now, we have to start planning. We have to do those clusters, like I said, get the community together, and let's work to bring the Black and Latino community together, like it happens in New York, like it happens in Chicago, like it happens in LA, like it happens in Boston, and I could go on and on and on, and that's all in the North. So what the hell is going on in the South? Somebody put some milk in the cake. You know, you're supposed to drink the milk after you eat the cake. Now, I'm imploring to go my Black and Latino community to please, and I'm going to encourage a lot of the Latinos to come on the show and discuss what's going on. I'm Dominican. And let me tell you how I don't even know the terminology for it, but so when it comes to people of a different persuasion, they don't care if you were born here or not, but if your parents are Italian, guess what? You're an Italian. If your parents are Jewish, guess what? You're Jewish. If your parents are German, you're German. But in the Latino community, like the Black community, like what they did to Kamala, how the hell do you see Kamala? She looks like me, and she's not Black? That's the most asinine thing I've ever heard of. We're the only ones that separate each other. And the Latino community. Saldana got I believe it was an Academy Award or something. Don't quote me on that. But the Dominican women were saying that she's not Dominican because she was born here. And her parents are Dominican, but she's not Dominican. Think about that. That's some asinine shit. If your parents are Dominican, I don't care where you were born, you're Dominican. Because you know what? Everybody else gonna see you like that. So why the Dominicans think that? And I'm just talking about Dominicans because I'm not going to speak about any other culture. I'm going to keep it in the eye, as I was taught in psychology. I'm going to keep it in the eye. We cannot think that way. What makes you think that you're Latino and you look like me and you're going to, on your passport, you're going to write that you're white? We'll tell that to a person over there. Tell a Republican that you're white. And see what they're going to tell you. Look, we got to deal with reality. We gotta deal with the fact that we are fragmented. We work in silos, and that keeps us apart. Both cultures are pretty much the same when you look at the cultural background of both communities. We're not that much different. We both eat rice. We both eat beans. We eat a lot of chicken. We're not that much different. We're not that much different. We need to come together so that in 2026, we could put someone that's going to work for all of us and not for their colon. Imagine a day when we have a Latino president. That would be a wonderful thing, wouldn't it? With a black cabinet. And of course, we got to have a couple of other kind of people there. And I'm not a racist, because I want you to know that, I'll tell you. But I am very pragmatic. I'm real. And I'm going to speak the truth. The reality of the thing is that the way some of us see the world and what's actually going on in the world, two different things. You could think that actually we're in a dystopia. You know what I'm saying? Because nothing is as it's supposed to be. Minorities are suffering. Now, let's talk about this immigration. I believe a lot of it is just hype, because that's how our current president gets off. He throws people off kilt, and while they off kilt and they talking about all the different things that are going to happen, and oh my God, and then guess what? They're doing everything that they need to do to keep us distracted and just run circles around us, because we're too damn gullible. We're too gullible. There are people like myself that would educate you if you want to be a part of that. W.B. Du Bois said that education is the key to knowledge and power. When I was in college and I read W.E.B. Du Bois, and I read that, I said, wow, that's heavy. Because coming from East New York, coming from a school that actually didn't, some of the teachers didn't even care for high school. I'm not even going to talk about the lower grades. I went to college and I had to take remedial class. And I took it upon myself because I seen my mom educate herself. That's actually how I got the title. And when I seen what W.B. Du Bois wrote, I in turn wrote, if education is not the key, then destruction shall be our destiny. For lack of education breeds ignorance, and ignorance breeds violence. It's only because some of us And don't take the word ignorance the wrong way. The meaning of ignorance is just plain you don't know. You're ignorant to a fact. So you don't know what the fact is. All right. But look at it as though our ignorance hurts us. And it's incumbent on people like myself uh, by the way, I have a BA in theater. I have a master's in guidance and counseling, and I have an advanced certificate in guidance and counseling. I'm a school psychologist by profession. I'm not just talking, I'm speaking from experience. I'm speaking from wisdom. You understand? I'm speaking from my first degree was my degree from the streets. I graduated from the streets. So I'm bringing all aspects of education and knowledge to my people. And listen, a lot of people try to challenge me, and I love a challenge. But I also invite you, before you challenge me, make sure that when you're challenging me, you have your facts correct. Because I cross all T's and I dot all I's. And if I miss a dot, call me on it. I don't have a problem with it. Call me on it. We need to do more of this, and we're going to do it. I'm hoping that for the last show of the month, we'll be covering a lot of the issues that are going on in Charlotte with living in public housing. People in public housing are being disparaged. Things are happening that shouldn't be happening according to the lease agreement. So lease is a contract. And if I sign the contract with you, that you're the landlord, then it's a give and take. I pay my rent, you provide me services so that I'm in a habitable apartment. It's not happening anymore. 42 units from what I understand, developments, from what I understand, and most of them are in a state of disarray, despair. And I'm starting an organization, North Carolina Tenants Association. And I say North Carolina because this is a statewide problem. Where we will be helping people, nonprofit organizations, to navigate and working with fair housing, non-discriminatory ordinance, NDO, and working with code enforcement. We're going to be working with the fire department and possibly legal aid to be able to help people. Listen, and I'm culpable of that too. Most of us do not read our lease. Most of us don't even have the time because we don't have one, we have two or maybe three jobs, 2 or 3 kids. The lease sometimes is like this, and sometimes people come home tired and they don't have time to read that. And then when you go to the management office to sign your lease, they just tell you sign here. And for you to get out of this and you go feed your kids, guess what? You sign it. Because you trust that they're being fair about what they're telling. And then they don't only tell you, oh, well, it's in the lease. You didn't tell me that, but you're supposed to read your lease. How many of us read our lease? I don't know. Majority of renters do not read the whole lease. They just don't. But it is the fiduciary responsibility of the renter, in this case, the Livian, to make sure that you are clear on what you're signing. So those that have questions and Like the last show of the month will be covering those issues. And you'll gain, then you're probably going to provide an email where you can just email your concerns and we'll address it. But that's what this show is all about. This show is about making sure that you and your family are all right. I'll be sharing things that I would advise you share with your kids that are in the school system. If you have a problem with the school system here, with CMS, listen, just let me know. From the top to the bottom, I know the people at the top of CMS, I know the board, and I know a lot of the people. I'm even going to bring teachers on here. I'll bring the superintendent on this show. We will be discussing issues that concern each and every one of us, no matter what your economical status is. Because your economical status doesn't say that you are free and clear of all adversity. No, it doesn't. Um, it, it's it's time that we come together and have these discussions. Because they're not happening. I mean, I used to volunteer at Hill Valley Elementary. I I used to go there to read to the Latino students. No, actually, they were mixed, and it was such a rewarding thing for me to do. Seeing those youngsters whenever I came back, they all were hugging me and oh man, I remember you, and it's a good feeling because that means that I left an impression upon them. Something I said those kids did not forget. Where am I getting at? It starts with the kid. It starts with the kid. So if you don't know what to say to your kids, let's talk about it. If you need to know about books to enhance the lives of your kids, let's talk about it. Let's let's inspire our community to want to learn, to want to pass down the right information to your kids. I'll reiterate and intimate at that they're trying to take our culture out of the history book, out of school, the history books in the school. If we allow that, guess what? We're stupid. That's simple. We're stupid because it's right before our eyes. This administration, this man is coming in, and the people that he's going to have in the administration, short of saying they all are racist, guess what? Puts me in the mind of Jasmine Crockett, our representative from Texas. She calls it like it is. I admire her. If you get a chance, look up Roland Martin, this indisputable. There's a couple of shows that call it like it is. And you need to know about these shows. Because it's not only the Tony Forman Show that's going to be educating you, this educating you, there's other shows that educate. It's out there. It's out there. But if you don't seek it, I mean, we're giving it to you, bringing it to you. You know, my producer himself has several shows that are of an educational agenda. You'll be able to get to know what all those shows are as we move along. I'll be sharing what are the shows, their content. You know, some of them just dedicate a little bit of time. As a matter of fact, I'll leave that to the producer, inviting you to go and watch the other show. So you're going to get a full package. You're going to get an education that you didn't get in high school and you didn't get in college. So, stay with that.
We want to thank everyone for watching the new Tony Forman Show with Tony Forman. And as he said, we want to see you every week, every Wednesday at 10 in the morning Eastern Time. This show will drop on your favorite audio podcast platform or video podcast platform. If you want to see what Tony looks like in person, he's probably all around Charlotte and Mecklenburg County. So once again, we want to thank everyone for joining us on the Tony Forman Show. And Tony, do you have any plans after this show drops?
Yeah, I want to go out into the community. I want to participate. I do, but not like I'm going to be doing now that we have the show going up in the air, on air. I'd like to bring to my listeners, my viewers, information from the city council and the county commissioner. It's imperative that is done. These people make decisions that affect all the constituency of Charlotte Mecklenburg. But it's the people that go is because they're a little bit more informed, or they only go because they have an issue and they want to get up there and they want to talk, and they'll talk for a half hour and ain't making any sense. If you want to know what's going on, I will report. I would take a portion of the show, and I'll tell you what I seen, what I heard, and what the topics are. And if we want to discuss it at another meeting, we can do that.
Sure.
We're here to inform, Colin. Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate your listening.
We'll see you next week on the Tony Forman Show. Bye, y'all.
Have a good day. And nobody